Here's me in August next to a white Mazda 3. Here's me today next to a white Mazda 3, only it's a 2023. Why review the same car twice? Mazdas are cool, and you keep searching for it, that's why. There's very few changes for the 2023 model year, but that's okay, because the Mazda 3 is the only small non-luxury hatch that competes in both the economy and the actual luxury segments together. So whether your budget's in the low 20s or the mid to high 30s, you'll want to consider this car. Get a price on your used car with CarGurus. Sell it online by typing a few details and get a cash offer from dealers nationwide. If you like it, they'll pick up your car and they'll pay you. The Mazda 3 has always looked sporty. The latest generation is artful. The lines you see on this car are not on a Honda, a Hyundai, or a Nissan. This is all about design, but it sacrifices some practicality. Here's the changes. The base 2-liter, gone. The 2.5-liter is now the base, and it makes slightly more horsepower and it has better fuel economy. Check out those numbers. Mazda says it's due to better cylinder deactivation. Now the 2.5 turbo, it doesn't have that. That's why it makes 250 horsepower, same numbers as before, premium or regular gas. You can see the differences there above. Now the 6-speed manual transmission, thank goodness, still an option only on one trim, front-wheel drive only. But you can now get all-wheel drive on the Carbon Edition, and it's also an option on the Premium. It's just a pretty looking car. The hatchback is even nicer than the sedan, so this is the one I'd recommend. All the body language, the forms, the curves. Is it a person? No, it's still a vehicle, but it's like sculpture, and you don't really get that type of look in this price category or size class. Even the turn signals, check them out. Front, side, and rear. They're all LED, but they have that same kind of incandescent bulb effect. Mazda puts that in just because, right? Who else is going to put a fade effect on a turn signal? All of the little details around the car, like the deck lid spoiler or the chin spoiler in the front, it evokes a lot of sportiness, and you can tell this is the turbo model because it has black mirror caps and the black grille. Plus, back there, there's bigger exhaust tips. This interior is extra pretty in red. Now name a German car that for $36,000 looks and feels better than this. There isn't one. When you spend more money on a Mazda 3, you're getting a very high quality interior. Just look at the door panels, these silver Bose metal covers for the speakers, the way the polished black plastic on the door armrest just seems to float. Everything is padded. You get these nice patterns that go straight into the dashboard, wraps around, leatherette. Everything is just soft. It feels good. The thing I don't like, it's really snug and tight in here. That makes visibility really bad. The rear pillars obstruct a lot. And here, pretty as this looks on the outside, every time you get in and out, you really gotta duck your head. I'm 5'11" and I've hit my head here. I've heard about people under 5'8" who've hit their head in here. That's what happens when you have a Mazda 3 hatchback. You get the design, not as much practicality. I don't like sitting back here. No headroom, no legroom, no air vents, but at least my knees are against this soft padded seat. It's not hard plastic. That's the best thing I can say about it. Let's get real. The Mazda 3 is a car for two, but when you're talking cargo space, there's a decent amount here in the hatchback. The sedan has 13 cubic feet, this has 20, and when you fold those seats down, 47. Not too bad. Other nice features, heated steering wheel and two-way seat memory for the driver. You don't really find that in cars like this. This 8.8-inch screen comes standard. You notice I didn't say touch, because it's not a touch screen. You have to use this rotary dial with these preset buttons around it to navigate. That makes it a bit dated, and the rest of the system is also old. For example, there's no physical seat button. You can do that with the combination volume and seat controls here on the console, but it's only for presets. That's why it's beeping at me. So if I actually go into the menu, well, I can't see that, so I have to go into another menu, go down to these tuner controls, and then finally, I can go from channel to channel. But if you see here, check that. I can't even see the whole song title. I don't know why, but Mazda truncates things even though the screen is pretty wide. But there are good things about the technology. For example, 360 cameras, that's only on the Premium Plus. And when you're driving forward after you throw it in reverse, the front camera automatically activates for about 10 to 15 miles an hour. That's pretty helpful. Lots of safety systems come standard, including forward emergency braking, lane keep assist, but if you get the Premium Plus, you also get front and rear parking sensors and traffic jam assist. Another good safety feature that you can't get on lower trims that I wish was there is rear emergency braking, plus rear cross traffic alert with braking. And the 12-speaker Bose stereo has some nice surround modes. Not as advanced as in luxury cars, but it's pretty good. The instrument panel has some classy looking analog gauges, but this central speedometer is all digital. You can cycle through just a few things, driving information, and you can also see the lane keep assist, and if you have the Premium Plus trim, it has traffic jam assist that will actively steer the car semi-autonomously with your help up to 40 miles an hour. I love how this car handles, again and again. So if you really like to drive, but you don't need, say, the performance of a Honda Civic Type R or any sort of crazy hot hatch that rides really stiffly and is very loud, this is the choice. This thing pulls, it's smooth, doesn't make much sound either, even though this is the Premium Plus trim and it includes what Mazda calls as the engine harmonic enhancer. Just some fake digital sound piped in through the speakers. I don't even think it's necessary, because the torque really talks to you in ways that the 2-liter engine that is not even available anymore could never do. Or the base naturally aspirated 2.5-liter. You pay a lot more for the turbo, but I do think it's worth it. And it pairs strictly with all-wheel drive. My one complaint with this car is that the 6-speed automatic transmission, there's too many gaps in the gears, so when you really put your foot down in certain speeds, right now it's good, but say on the highway, it won't react as quickly, and that's just because there aren't enough lower gears to really take advantage of this engine's low-end torque. It needs an 8-speed, it truly does. But what it doesn't need is better handling. This is like a master class in small car handling. So much fun. It's stable, it grips, the steering has a lot of feel. There's a lightness to everything. This is why you drive a smaller car and not a big SUV. I keep saying that every time I get into a smaller car, because it's just physically more rewarding to drive. And without adaptive dampers, the ride can be a little firm. I don't have a problem with that since this is a small and sporty car. It doesn't ever unsettle you when you're driving. But comfort is not the first thing for a Mazda 3 Turbo. The seats are really plush and comfy, very supportive. I like all that. Most of the time when I drive a Mazda 3, I feel that I'm getting that upscale luxury experience. But on the highway, not as much. There's a lot of road and wind noise that creep into this cabin. It's not loud, but to my ears, it's noticeably louder than actual luxury cars. So, kind of a demerit there. So if you want all this turbo power, you're gonna pay for more turbo gas. 23 city, 31 highway, and 26 combined make it the worst of all the Mazda 3s for fuel consumption. Because as I said before, the fuel economy goes up to the high 30s, but this one makes so much more power and torque. That's very much like its European competitors. They don't make great fuel efficiency either, and you also have to remember this is with all-wheel drive. That's the only way you can get the turbo engine. But there's a silver lining in there, because Mazda lets you put regular gas in this engine. It will detune the output, so it goes down to about 227 horses, 310 pound-feet, but that's not a lot. And the point is that if you put premium, you get the full output. And you can do both back and forth depending if gas prices are way too high and you just don't want to put in 93 octane, no problem. Try doing that in an Audi A3 or a BMW 2 Series, and you'll have some severe engine trouble down the line. Not in this Mazda. And the braking pedal feel is exactly how it should be in a sporty little car. Just the right amount of travel, nice firm bite. The Mazda 3 has a wide spread of prices. It starts at $22,550 for the sedan. With all options, the hatchback goes past $38,000. My car was $36,895 with destination. If that feels expensive, well, it kinda is. Next to the Honda Civic hatchback, that car is fully loaded at $32K. The Toyota Corolla hatchback is $30K fully loaded, but those cars are much slower and they don't come with all-wheel drive. Really, this 3 Turbo loaded up, it's more aligned with the Mercedes A-Class and GLA, the BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe and the X2, or the Audi A3. And it has a nicer interior than all of them. So it's two different kind of cars, one for the economy segment, the second for luxury. I said it before about the 2022, I'll say it again about this 2023. You get to choose how much Mazda 3 you want. At the low end, you're competing against the Corollas and the Civics. Fine cars, fine car here. If you load it up into the 30s, you're getting a car that competes against the 2 Series and the A3. And honestly, I think it's a better value and better looking inside and out than any of those cars. So for me, I like the 3. There's a reason why you don't see it that much though. It's because of the space. It's really tight inside and the infotainment is really aging. Mazda truly needs an update. But aside from that, what do you think? And what cars do you want us to review next? Go to CarGurus.com, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're here all the time, and we'll see you next time.